All right, lead intake system, yes? Oh my goodness, you guys are killing me right now. Let me wake you guys up. All right, what do we got here? Oh, I got a great shirt here. The front of it says, "Remember when I asked you to join me?" And the back says, "It's too late now." You like that? You like that one? All right, let's throw some out. Now, here's the thing. I don't know what sizes they are. So when you open it up, and if it's too small or too big, just take it to the back. They'll get you one you need. You guys want one of these? Hey, good job, Action Jackson. Good job, Action Jackson. Jackson. I say Jackson. I don't know what that is. Jackson. How about this? I got some other stuff for you. How about the 5X my life? You guys need to 5X your life a little bit. Let me go to the back a little bit. You guys up front been getting everything. 5X your life. 5X your life. 5X your life. I know. There we go. Listen, some people are like just staring at me and it hits them upside the head and then they wake up. They're like, oh, I'm in class, right? 5X your life, guys, because here's why. If you don't 5X it, who's going to 5X it? What? There you go, guys. You guys are going to be swagged out, aren't you? All right, I had a clicker somewhere. Okay, lead intake. Write it down, guys. That's the 7-step lead intake process. What have we covered already? You see how much more we have to go? We've only done one of them. Only one of them. What? Missed what?
I thought you said something.
I did.
I was looking for that for him.
Oh. She's like, I got caught. You had that like that I got caught face. All right, write it down. Write it down. Don't look at me. Write it down. Write it down because I'm going to move through this. We got to get rolling here. We got to get to 5 o'clock. I got 45 minutes to do an hour-and-a-half presentation. I am. That's what I do. It's what I do. You guys got it?
Thank you.
No problem.
Oh.
Thank you.
I'm gesundheit. Where are you going, man? Where are you going? Oh, big boy.
Yeah.
Big boy. Knows how to go by himself. All right, we good? Okay, market segmentation. The whole purpose of this is to get to what? Zip code matrix. Marketing, multiple streams. You guys understand that. To have a successful life, you have to have multiple streams of income. To have a successful business, you have to have multiple streams of marketing. Super important. I see too many new investors get started, and they do the worst thing possible. They say, oh, well, let me try bandit signs for a little bit and see how that works. And then 3 months goes by and they go, well, let me try a little bit of direct mail and see how that works. And then 3 months goes by and they go, oh, well, let me try running some newspaper ads and see how that works. Then 3 months goes by and guess what? They've wasted a whole year testing 3 marketing pieces. It's the worst thing you can do. Guys, you need to get yourself in a position and you need to listen to what Carly had to say to you guys earlier about getting some reserves so that you can deploy marketing. Listen, let me say something. Everybody write this down, creditcard.com. Just write it down. Because let me tell you something. If you're the type of person that says to me, well, I have horrible credit, then go there. Because they have a button on there that says no credit. I mean, like if you don't even have credit, they'll approve you for a credit card. And literally it says no credit. And why would I want that? Because listen, if you don't have credit, it's not like they're going to give you a $40,000 line of credit. They're just going to give you a little one, like maybe 500, 1,000, or 2,000. But you understand the power of that? It now gives you what? A marketing budget. You understand? It gives you a marketing budget. So do that for homework tonight. I just wanted to see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Because listen, every time we do this, some people come back and say, man, I got this, I got that, I got this, I got that. I can't believe this. Write that on your homework sheet. Let's build some what? Marketing dollars. Let's get some marketing dollars going. Look, if some of you are doing really good, you might get on that site and the Lord knows what you might hit. You might say, well, man, I can go buy a house with what I got. Right? Think about it. If I got a line of credit for $40,000, could I go buy a house in some markets for that and flip it? Absolutely I could. All day long. Listen, I got a student I'm working with right now out in Phoenix, and I've helped him connect with a company that sells bulk properties, and he's out buying houses for $1,000 a house, and he sells them for $10,000 to $15,000 a pop. Yeah. How many of you would do that? Right? Think about it. $1,000 a pop. Now, these aren't very nice houses. Let's be clear on that. But they're rental properties. You understand? They're rental properties that he turns around and sells them to a landlord for 10 grand, 15 grand. That landlord knows, oh, I'm going to put 5, 6, 7,000 into it and rent it out for $700 a month. Is he making money? Whew, he's making good money. So we're doing it in Birmingham, we're doing it in Macon, Georgia, and in St. Louis. my buddy Tyler back there lives in St. Louis. So that's what I'm talking about. So all the resources you can get together is very important for you. So part of your homework is what? Yeah, do it. Here's what I'm saying. You never know unless you what? You ask for it. Do the clustering. The clustering is what helps you understand which one of these markets you're going to go after. Okay? Where's Jill? She gone? She's out in the hallway. So the next one is communication stage. So once we do marketing and the leads start coming, I'm good, Jeff. It's okay. Once we do marketing and the leads start coming in, we have to do what now? Communicate. We have to communicate. What's another form of marketing is what? Going after the lead, which is dialing, calling for sale by owners. We have to move right into the what? Communication stage. Are we clear on that? Communication. That's why you have your scripts. That's why in your package you have scripts. Let me help you with these real quick because we're going to talk about this. This is part of your homework is to communicate tonight. Okay? Communicate. So the very first one is your long form script. This is what you're using. How do I flip this over, Dan? What do I push, Dan? Oh, look at whoa! I love Dan. I don't even have to think. So just so that everybody knows what we're doing here. Oh, what is all this? It's like taped down, isn't it? What is that? I think I was supposed to leave that there, wasn't I? Was I supposed to leave that there? Sorry, Dan. Okay. I don't know if you guys can. Anyways, that's the form you should be looking at. That's your motivation sheet. Here's what I want you to do for your homework tonight is how many of you are here as a partner? You got somebody with you here. Raise your hand if you have a partner. So the rest of you are solos. Raise your hand if you're solo. Find a partner. I mean, in life or here this weekend. It don't matter to me. So, my point is you need to role play. You need to role play with this. You need to read it and read it and read it. One of the best things I'll tell you is this, is it's always better for you to practice your communication skills on free leads before you ever start practicing them on paid leads. Are we clear on that? So why should we be paying money before we practice our script? We should not. Are we clear on that? We should not. We should be on the phone dialing for sale by owners, Craigslist ads, Zillow ads, you name it, Backpage ads. I'm going to give you a whole bunch of them. You need to be dialing these people and talking to them and going through your script. And when you're on the phone with them and they start saying, well, what about this? And how did you come up with that? And blah, blah, blah. Then all you need to do is what? Hang up the phone. Because if they call you back, guess what? They're motivated. Because we just say, oh, we must have got disconnected. That's it. Listen, do you understand? People have a fear of communication. And so that fear prevents them from doing what? Calling. So if you now know that you're in control, will you call more? Yes. That's what I want you to do. I'll never forget the first time I did a mailing campaign, like a big one. I spent like $3,000. And back then, that was big for me. And I had put it all on a credit card. But I deployed this out. I knew the phone calls were going to start coming in on like Monday or Tuesday the next week. I was at work. And I remember I came home. I think it was like Tuesday I came home. We got a couple of calls Monday, but Tuesday I came home and I'm all excited. I'm like, like we must have had a big day. And I remember I came in and my partner back then, the kid's mom, I come in, I'm like, hey. I'm like, did the phone ring? Like, what happened? She's like, oh, babe, it rang all day. I was like, yes. I was like, how many deals did we get? She's like, I don't know. I didn't answer it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. She's like, yeah, and a couple of them left some voicemails for you. I was like, oh, dagger to the heart, right? But it was because why? She had fear of it because she hadn't been trained. Now, fast forward in our career together, I turned her into a negotiating machine, which was my demise towards the end, but you know. Listen, I know I joke about this a lot, but I can now because of the place that we are. We're really good now, and we do a lot of good things for the kids. And I joke about this with her too. I'm like, when do I get my testimonial? But yes, I had never seen anybody that could negotiate a short sale like this woman can. Like I've seen her negotiate a short sale in as short as 7 days. Yeah, and if anybody's ever done a short sale, you know that's pretty impressive. She got good, but it was because why? She had to do what? She had to get practice. She had to be coached. She had to be led down the process. And literally, I was over her every day. Like, I remember there was sometimes she would get off that phone ready to cry. Like, oh, no, I'm like, stop. Like, think about where we're coming from and think about the angle. And this is what they're saying. Don't let that come on you. Here's something you guys are going to learn as real estate investors calling motivated sellers. That the more and more you talk to motivated sellers, you're going to realize that you're really an underpaid therapist. It's the truth. Because they're going to tell you every woe me story they have. And you've got to listen to it. Right? You got to. Because they have to get all of that out of the way before they'll even tell you anything about the property. And that's just the reality. That's one of the reasons that I don't do those calls anymore, and I get somebody else to do it. And I'm going to show you what a funnel looks like here today too. But that's the communication stage. So that's why we use this script. Now, if you read that and you think that that is just way too much, Dan, hook me up, brother. You want to use this one, okay? This is just a simple, and that's the contrasting, isn't it? Maybe I can fix that or I'll break it one. Oh, watch out now. I know a little bit about what's going on around here. Not too much. Don't ask me too much. But I'll get it figured out. So this is for you if you're just like brand new and you say to yourself, man, I can't read that whole script tonight. Well, then this is what you want to use because it's going to ask very important information about the property, about their financial situation, how motivated they are. It's going to go through information that you need. Now, you only have one of these, so where should you write your answers? On a separate sheet of paper, please. Because here's why. I want to help you do what tomorrow morning? Put deals together. And we do it every event I do, we do deals. Who's been at my other events? Do we put deals together over the weekend? We do. But who has to do the homework? I'm here to coach you this weekend. My coaches are here to coach you, but you have to do what? And here's what will happen. I will assign homework like I've been doing all day to you, and then tomorrow will come around and we'll start getting good deals and start working them and getting them put together. And then the people that didn't want to do it, guess what? They come up and ask Saturday before we leave. Hey, what was that homework you were saying? Because guess what's in their way? Their ego. Because they want to be the hallway guru this weekend. And they're the ones that don't want to take notes. They want to act like they know more than me. And if they do, let's compare bank accounts. And we'll see who's doing the best. Right? That's what I say. It's a real easy solution to find out. Right? So don't listen to the people that don't want to learn. You do you. Do you understand? You do you. You put blinders on and you listen to your coach this weekend. You listen to what I tell you to do and you go do it. Because I promise you, if you do what I tell you to do, I will lead you down a path that will get you to success. Are you with me? Yes. Good. Absolutely. My man over here. You got a book yet? Let me give you a book. Man, let me give you a book. Let me give you some shirts. Let me just give you some stuff over here. There you go. Yeah. Like, I got to give him an award for, like, the most positive, right? Like, I don't think I've had anybody as positive as you are. And from your story, you would be a tremendous success. You will. That's what I said. You will be. So use this if you're afraid of that other script. Because this is just questions. But let me tell you something. You cannot be afraid this evening. Because why? Because you have to take action this evening. You understand? Because guess what happens on Sunday? I go home. Well, you can. But not with me. I go home Sunday. So it's better for you to start doing your homework tonight so that you've got stuff to bring in tomorrow. You understand? That we can start working through. Because that's what this is about. But you have to do what tonight? How many for sale by owners do you need to call? 50. That's right. Who said 40? 54. I like it already. Now, what? Don't call anybody. It ain't going to work for you. It ain't going to work for you, man. It just ain't going to work for you. Listen, I'm going to give you a whole list, okay? I'm going to give you a bunch of websites. And here's my thing. It don't matter. If you can't find them in your city, then you need to do what? Look in another city, right? Get that out of your head, man. If that's how you're thinking, you're going to stop before you get to 20 tonight, okay? Hand me back, Dan. That's your communication. Now, once we do that, tomorrow morning, what are we doing? Research and analyzing. That's what we're doing first thing in the morning. I'm going to get up there like I'm at my desk. We're going to get the Elmo out, and I'm just going to run numbers with you guys. I'm going to run formulas. We're going to run numbers. I'm going to pick you guys that actually do your homework, because guess what? Not all of you will. I'm telling you. And you know what? How many of you in here that actually will do your homework think that's crazy that not everybody would do their homework? Right? Like, I think it's absolutely crazy. But they won't. Watch. Just watch. And then the ones that do it, are everyone that does their homework, are all of you going to find a really good deal? No, you're not. And be okay with that. But all I want you to do is what? Get to doing something. Listen, you've got to do what? You got to do one thing every day that scares you. You got to do something every day, right? Listen, I get scared every day my trainer comes to my house.
Zack.
Every day my trainer comes to my house, I'm like hiding.
Zack.
I'm like, what?
Zack.
I'm talking.
Oh.
I'm like, he comes to the house, and listen, the worst thing I did, but the best thing I did was give him a key to my house. Because why? I know me. I'll be like, man, don't answer the door. Like, if I don't move, he can't see me. And so, and my house is like all coded, you know, beep, 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 zzz, retina scan, I'm in, right? So I gave him the code to the door, and he's like, beep, beep, beep. He's like, Zack, I know you're in here. And I'm like, yeah. So I can't hide from him. So then we go to negotiation stage. This is what we're going to work on tomorrow too, is how do we negotiate these deals? Once we run the numbers, now what do we go back and do? And then converting, we're going to talk about, and tracking is this right here. Yes, AC.
You remember the class that we had? You were working deals in here. Where was I? Out in the hall working
Yes.
deals, and
Yep.
another trainer was down the hall. I'd like to see us break that record. We had like 5 deals going within the first hour.
Of that Saturday morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, we
That's
had a
all
lot
I
of
wanna-
deals going that
Yep.
day. That was, what was that? Was that Atlanta?
I think it was.
Yeah,
I mean, you had to shut it down because there were so many deals coming in.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Listen, it's just like, it's a normal day thing for me. It's like, normal thing when you, never mind. For you guys, this isn't normal for you because you haven't really been doing it on a consistent basis. So I want this weekend to be like an example of what you need to be doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But the difference is you go home and start doing it, you ain't got nobody to ask questions to. You ain't got nobody to say, well, they said this, what do I say? Well, these were the numbers, what do I do? That's why you got to do it here. So you need to use this tracking sheet for your marketing. It's in your sheets. It's in your sheets. It's before the script. It's the sheet right before the scripts. So it is not colored, but it is black and white on here. Okay? So this is a tracking sheet that you want to use. And the reason that you want to is that we've got to track our marketing. You with me on this? We need to figure out what's working, what's not working. Click me back, Dan, because here's why. The first part of this with the blue boxes, that's just our budget, the start date that we're going to start these different marketing pieces, the run times, the pieces sent or bandit signs we put out, and so forth. The second sector is where we actually start to calculate the marketing process itself. This is where we start to look at what's the response rate from that marketing. We sent out 1,000 pieces. How many did we get back? What's the ratio of that? What's the CPL? Make a note on your paper. CPL stands cost per lead, meaning how much is it costing me to acquire a lead out of that marketing campaign, okay? The next box is deals. Am I getting any deals put together from this? Ratio versus deals versus leads. Profit. What did I make profit on those deals? And then PPL is the second number that we're trying to get to, which is our profit per lead. So the two main numbers we're trying to figure out through all this tracking is CPL and PPL. Cost per lead and profit per lead. Okay, so if I'm spending $25 for the lead and I'm making $100 for the lead, do I want to buy as many of those leads as possible? All day long. Right? If I'm spending $125 for a lead and I'm only making $50, do I want to stop that as fast as possible? Absolutely, right? I want to cut it as fast as possible. The problem is you guys don't track your marketing. You just send it out there and say, oh, I got a deal. Oh, okay. But like, what was your return? What did you spend and how much did you make? And what is that one better than the other ones? You know, because some of you might get a deal faster through, let's say, a foreclosure list than you do a landlord list, and you might think that it's a better list, but overall it might not be. That's why we track everything. At the end of the day, everything is based on what? The data. That's it. It's all based on the data. That's all it is. Guys, if you remove the emotional aspect from this business, you'll make $1 million fast. You will. If you keep thinking about everything from an emotional standpoint, oh, well, that's a pretty house. I could care less if it's pretty or not. All I care is are people buying houses in that neighborhood. It could be orange. But if people are buying it, I will buy that house. That's all I care about. I don't care about, oh, well, I wouldn't live in that neighborhood. Well, I don't care. Are people buying and living in that neighborhood? Then I'll buy and flip in that neighborhood. I mean, I'm living in either, but. So, all right, marketing for leads. Let's dig in, guys. You probably need a clean sheet of paper now. How many of you have gone through a book already? Anybody gone through a whole book already? Man, you have? Here, have a book. There you go. I was about to say, usually by this time in other events, we have like 3 or 4 people have gone through a book. Yes? You gone through a book? Go! Give her a book. I don't have any more books. Raise your hand. Let's get her a book. Who else has gone through a book? You've gone through a book? You've gone through a book? You're on your second book. Do you have one of my books?
Yeah, but I'll take another one.
You take another one? Well, listen at you.
Well, man, you know,
How about a T-shirt?
I'll take it. Yes, T-shirt.
There you go. Hey, give her a book. Just put those in the front. Here, I'll take that one. Right over there. Eric. Help her out, man. Let's see here. What do I got? What kind? You want my 5F lifestyle shirt? Or do you want the 5F lifestyle? I've got dig deeper or don't dig at all. I got 5F lifestyle. I got dig deeper. I got freedom from, this one's a cool shirt. On the back of this, it says, don't flip out over money, flip a house. Isn't that cool? And it's got the dig deeper on it for you. All right, there we go. Okay, guys, you should be taking notes, man. I told you guys earlier, if you came here not to participate, go home. Here, let me help everybody eliminate your competition. You guys want me to eliminate some competition? If you're not here to learn, don't come back tomorrow. How about that? Right? Listen, it works, though. Tomorrow, we'll have less people watch. They'll be like, he's so rude. He's just so rude. He told me to leave. Well, then that's because you didn't come here to learn, right? I had one guy in the hallway at one other event on Saturday. He came up to me and he said, I didn't like what you said. And I said, well, did you hear the part that I said I would offend somebody this weekend? No. I said, well, you're the one. I said, but by the way, what did I say? Well, you said that if I wasn't paying attention, that I wasn't going to be here to learn. I said, well, are you paying attention? And he just looked at me. And guess what? He didn't come back on Sunday. But here's my point, guys. If I'm going to take time away from my family, fly all the way over here to put on an event with good people like yourselves that want to learn, then what's the nonsense of having someone in our group that doesn't? You understand? Like, what's the nonsense of it? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, here, I love you too. So, marketing for leads, direct mail, online marketing, door knocking. This is 3 of the 6 that we're going to cover before 5 o'clock. I'll get you in a minute, Brenda, okay? It's Brenda, right? See? Look at that. I know. Usually I'm horrible with names. Bill, John, Mike, Bob, somebody. So here's what we're going to talk about, these 3 right now. So let's go into direct mail marketing. I am a super fan of direct mail. I believe that in the market we're in right now, we have to be doing direct mail. These are the things, especially these top 3 right here. Let me go back. These 3, you better be getting geared up for. These are the 3 right here that we're getting the best results from. Direct mail, online marketing, and door knocking. And I'm going to explain them to you. So direct mail, these are the lists that you need to go after with your direct mail. Pre-foreclosure, absentee owners, out-of-state owners with equity, for sale by owners, probate, inherited list. See, man, that vegetable wrap didn't do very well with me. I should have ate a pizza. No. I'd be like, oh, if I ate a pizza. Here, I want you to do this. Write seller carrybacks. And right beside that, I want you to write a website real quick. Now, I can't guarantee that they'll have properties in your market, but it's a really cool website. It's called ownerwillcarry.com. So on this website, sellers just put their properties all over this website, and they're agreeing to do seller financing already for you. Yep. So I don't want to hear any excuses. I can't find a deal. Ownerwillcarry.com. So part of your homework is what? What do I want you to do? I want you to go to ownerwillcarry.com and work a deal with somebody on that site. Listen, let's say you live in Atlanta and they've got somebody on that site that's in Dallas. Could you still work a deal with that person in Dallas? And when I give you the secrets on here in a minute on how to find a buyer for that property, could you then turn around and get a buyer in that market and do a deal in the next 30 days from leaving this event? Yes. You like me now? Yes. That was weak, wasn't it? I'm telling you guys, it's nothing but a thing when you know how to put it together. So you just got to know what to do. The problem is you got to do it. Let's talk about the foreclosure process, because this is a marketing cycle that you need to be part of, okay? So the foreclosure happens. You get what's called a cure period. What is that? 30, 60, 90-day late. Most markets, after 90 days late, this is our marketing window, 30, 60, 90 days. That is like the prime marketing window. Then they go to what's called a notice of default. Once a notice of default has been filed, they then get tons of marketing. Like companies are going after them, all kinds, because why? Once the notice of default is filed, there's a short window before it gets scheduled for a public auction. So this is where large companies start coming in and trying to snatch them up. So we target 30, 60, 90 to get them before that window. Okay, now this window between the NOD state and the schedule of public auction could vary depending on your market. From here, it goes to what's called a public notice of sale, which is posted. Where do they post it at? In the newspaper, right. They sure do. Where do they post tax delinquents to? In the newspaper. I was in the newspaper the other day for a $7 tax delinquent.
Oh, goodness.
So listen, I guess I paid the tax short. It was like $7. And so they like called me up and they're like, we're going to take your property for $7. I'm like, well, here, okay, I'll pay you $7. I'm like, geez, chill out. So I paid the $7, but I guess I paid it after they had sent it to the newspaper. So this is the funny part. So I go, my name gets put in the paper. Well, my dad like starts blowing up. You know, my parents read the paper more than I ever read the paper. But my dad's like, son, you're in the paper. They're going to take that property. I'm like, what property, Dad? I got too many of them. Which one? And he's like, well, you want to go to that property? Well, you better go down there and take your property. Well, you're going to take your property. Well, you're going to take your property. Your name's everywhere. You got to understand my dad, like I have to translate for him. My dad is about as country as they come. So, and if he called, I'd put him on speakerphone so you could hear him. I've done that at seminars, and then they all start laughing. And he's like, well, get me off that speakerphone. Why you got me on that speakerphone? So listen, there's a TV show that was interviewing me to do they wanted to do this show called Flipping the South. And so they were interviewing me amongst other people. But the lady on the phone was like, well, you know, how many deals you do? And I'm telling her and all this stuff. And she's like, well, we like a little drama. Do you have anything that's drama? And I'm like, well, you should meet my dad. And she's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, my dad's like 76 years old and he's a pistol, man. She goes, well, I'd like to meet him. I said, well, let me call him in real quick. So now my dad hates being late to anything. And if you're 1 minute late, like you will never hear the end of it, right? So I call my dad up on three-way. My dad answers, and I got the lady on the other line. And I go, Dad, why aren't you on that job site? Oh, boy, what you talking about, job site? I ain't supposed to be on no job site. What are you talking about? I know job site. You better check your phone. And this lady just starts cracking up. And my dad goes, who's that? And she goes, oh, I love him already. So that's my dad for you. He's a hoot, man. So anyways, back to what we're talking about. Public notice. This is where it gets notified. Now, remember, from the public notice to the public auction, which is this dotted line right here, this is a right of what's known as a redemption period. And most states have different types of redemption. But in every foreclosure curing process, from the time it's been notified in the paper to the time it hits the court, they call this a redemption period. Even though they could redeem it all the way through, that's just what they call that period. Now, once it hits the public auction, if it's not sold, it becomes what? An REO? That's right. Banks own. Now, let me explain something to you. I am not a fan at going down here to the public auction at the courthouse and buying. I'm just not. Because here's why. Are all the big guys down there trying to push everybody out? Yeah. Who else is down there? The banks. That's right. So what I am a fan of is this last one down here called private auctions. And here's why. Because once it becomes an REO, meaning that the banks take it back and it goes on the MLS, it becomes known as another period of what's known as the right of redemption period. And I'll give you an idea. That is the right of redemption period for whatever state you live in. Like Alabama is a 1 year. Well, actually, they need to update that. They just now changed that. But some are none. So what is a right of redemption? So a right of redemption is let's say a seller gets their property foreclosed on and the bank takes it back and they foreclose at $60,000 and then you go buy that property for $70,000. Well, the seller can come back and file what's called their right of redemption inside their redemption period, and they can actually take the property back for what the foreclosed amount was for. Right? So if they foreclosed at 60 and you bought for 70, are you now in a loss? That's right. So we have to really worry about it in markets like mine where that redemption period is long. Okay? Because if it's long, then that means they've got lots of time to go do what? Get that money, right? So a lot of times when we're buying from people in like a foreclosure state, a 30, 60, 90 days late period, we tell them that we want them to sell us on top of the property their rights for any redemption period so that we buy that from them. There are lots of people that go around the country and do this. They go around and find people that got foreclosed on and they buy their redemption rights to then come to investors like you and try to redeem the property away from you. And it happened to me. I had it happen to me not that long ago where I actually had to hire an attorney and go fight it. We won because my attorney was smarter than their attorney, but did it cost me money to fight? Of course it did, right? And some people just aren't willing to fight, so they lay down and they lose. So you just got to be careful with which area you're in. Yes? $500 to $1,500. Just depends on really the house, the quality of it, things like that. But there again, you never start there. You know, if I tell the seller, I would say to the seller, look, I'll give you a couple $100, if you'll sign this form to release your redemption rights to me. Now, what could they say? No, I want more than that, right? So they could renegotiate with you. But I would never pay more than $1,000 or $1,500 for it. So now you understand that. But let's go back to this other period. So once the bank takes it and they list it on the MLS, most banks that list, I've noticed over the years that there's usually about a 180-day window in a lot of cases. Now, some will leave them on there for longer, but I've seen a consistency around 180 days that the banks will take a bunch of the properties that they have listed, they'll bundle them up, and then they'll hand them off to a private auction company. And then that private auction company will then go and auction them. The beauty of private auction is what? It's not a public. There's not as many people there. You don't have to fund it in 24 hours. You get 30-day closes. You get to inspect the property. It's just like a normal purchase. And so that's why I say buy at the beginning of it and buy at the end of it. Because if you buy at the beginning, then you get all the low-lying fruit that no one else has had access to. And if you buy at the end, then you've allowed everything to pass through that's already going to be sold. Yes, they're all over. They're all online. So the bank doesn't invite you, but the private auction companies in your market, like auction.com, that's one. We have like Hudson and Marshall. There's Hudzoo's another one. I mean, if you type in online real estate auction sites, Google's amazing, right? You'll get a ton of them. So, all right, mailing distressed seller leads. Don't do. Oh, by the way, I misspell like crazy, if you guys haven't figured that out by now. So I'm sure there's more of them because I've seen 3 or 4 already. I just write and then I teach. That's like my books. I was making the joke not too long ago that I had a teacher that used to be really hard on me. And I've always had a problem with reading and spelling and all that stuff. But I've never had a problem with making money. So it's like, I mean, I'll trade that any day of the week, right? So, but my teacher told me one day, she said, look, if you don't learn to spell, you'll never make it in life. And I said, well, why can't you just hire someone to do it for you? And so she made me write 1,000 times. If I don't learn to spell, I'll never succeed in life. 1,000 times I had to write that. And I made a point to misspell as many times as I could in that. See, I have a problem with authority, and especially with some people and how they overstep their boundaries with authority. And I've always been kind of a rebellious child with especially schools. What's so funny about that, though, is like I'm the president of the PTA board at the school where my kids go. Like, it's the weirdest thing. And then I got in with the principal and started selling some of his properties and selling him properties. And he's like, well, what do I owe you for that? Because I know this is what you get paid to do as a wholesale fee. And I just said, don't worry about it. My son starts next year. Yeah, brother. It's good to know people because my son is a wild one, man. He's 4 years old and his martial art class is sparring with 7 and 8-year-olds and they're running from him. He's like, whack, and they're like, boom, and he's like, come on. And I'm like, that's my boy. I'm like, get him, man, get him. You saw that? I got my leg up there, didn't I? Watch out now. So anyways, don't do what everyone else is doing. I'm going to show you guys some marketing samples in a minute. I'm going to show you where to get these marketing samples. I'm going to show you where to get these lists. But promise me this, do not or stop sending out that daggum yellow postcard and letter. Stop doing it if you're doing it. You know why? Because everybody's doing it. It's useless, guys. Look, there's companies like what I do. They're just much bigger, and that's all they do. And they do like a seminar every weekend for every weekend there is in the year. And they train thousands of people. And guess what? They teach them to do all the same stuff. And you wonder why your marketing don't work when you're doing what 10,000 other people are doing in your same market. Are you clear? Stop doing it. It's never going to work. Do something different, and I'll show you. Mail something different. Create a message that will spark their interest. Pull your list every 60 to 90 days. Especially distressed. Non-distressed, we don't have to pull them every 60 to 90 days. Are we clear? Follow-up is the secret. Would you agree? Come on, guys, wake up. It's like, you guys acting like we've been here all day. You guys act like we've been learning all day or something. Come on. Get with it, okay? Filter your list. What? The property types I'm looking for, the age. Remember we talked about this, right? The age, we want what? 10 years in, even when we were trying to rehab. Because why? A new house has nothing to fix. You understand? A 5-year-old house has nothing to fix. Even a 10-year-old house may not have nothing to fix. But when you start getting in that 20, 30, 40-year-old properties, now we're what? Now we got some stuff to fix. You get in them 100-year-old houses, most people run. I run into them because I like them. Not like run into them with a car, but you know what I'm saying. Like price. Well, how do we know what price range we're looking for? Who can tell me what I told you? Good job, Sarah. You already got a book. You see that? She got the. I'll give her some points. I haven't given any points out, have I? Oh, give everybody in here that's still awake. I'm looking around the room and you guys are fading fast. You're like, oh. I swear, man, I feel like I'm boring you guys. Hey, and it's only day one. You know, have I done a fair job on day one for you guys? Yeah. Yeah. That's good. Everybody who clapped for me, give yourself 3,000 points. You didn't clap, buddy. Stop writing. Hey, you didn't clap. Don't be cheating. I caught you. I caught you cheating. You didn't clap. Don't own something you didn't do. I busted you, man. I caught him. You see that? I don't have a problem calling you out. All right. All right. Price. We got to find the medium city price, and then what? Create a range below and above. That's what we're going after. Beds and baths. I'm looking for 3 2s. That's what I'm looking for. Square footage. You should not be looking at properties under 1,200 square foot, period. Unless you're going to add to it. Unless it's 1,000 square feet and you're going to add a bedroom and bath off the back of it, then that's fine because we're going to add the square footage that we need. Unless, there's all kinds of unlesses, right? Unless it's in like some type of like historical district, you know, where you have like the trendy type areas and those houses might only be 800 square feet, but that 800 square feet house sells for $500,000. It's like, what? But it's because it's in a trendy area and they can walk down to the riverfront and whatever, blah, 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 let them have it. You know what I mean? I'll sell it to them all day long, okay? And then you know what? One day they wake up and they go, I need more room. And you're like, yeah. Now try selling that $500,000 house, right? Because everybody else is going to laugh at you for buying it. Like 800 square feet. We've got them like that. A friend of mine just sold a house. I was shocked. It was 950 square feet, and he got $140 a square foot. And in my market, that's high because our average square foot resale price in my market is right around $80 a square foot. I mean, it was high, and I was shocked. Now, it's in a place that we call 5 Points, but I was shocked that he got it, okay? Then once you get all this data, you've got to do what? You've got to match your list pulling by your zip code filtering. Here's why. There is no sense for you to go pull a list when you already know your zip code matrix and not filter out the list on the areas that do not match your marketing approach. You with me? You got to take them out. Build out your marketing plan based on that. Here's your marketing cycle. When we're marketing to sellers, this is what we do. Postcard. Why do we send a postcard first? It's the cheapest way to get it out there. It's the cheapest way to get it out to see if the message is actually going to spark an interest, okay? Now, if it does spark an interest, 10 days later we mail a letter, 5 days another postcard, 10 days another letter. So literally within 30 days, what? I've touched them 3 to 4 times, okay? And here's what else I'll tell you. You cannot mail one piece and think that you're going to maximize that list. Most of your response rate is going to come after the third response or the third mailing. So you might see a low front end, like maybe a 1%. By the second piece you send out, you might start to see a 2, even 3%. By the third, fourth, and fifth, that number will keep growing up to get you a higher return on your marketing. When we're going after buyers, for my wholesalers in the room, list building. What is list building? It means that we're just generally building a list. We send all postcards to 141414. And it's just, we noticed you're buying in the area. We'd love to, put you on our buyers list. We get deals all the time. And we're going to talk about these types of buyers tomorrow. After lunch, we're going to go into some wholesaling strategies, and we're going to talk about where to get these buyers at. Now, if I have a very specific property to sell, well, I'm going to mail that in what we call a 3-day cycle. I'm going to mail them a postcard, 3 days later a postcard, 3 days later a letter, 3 days later a postcard. I'm going to hit them. Because why? I have a property specifically I need to sell, okay? Now, what is a non-distressed seller? Somebody that doesn't have a direct sign of motivation. This list is huge. I mean, it is a massive list. It is like Info USA, where you can get like 8 billion names if you want them. But let me explain something to you. This is how you scale up your business. This is the list that you scale from. Remember how earlier, remember way back earlier, when we were talking about market share? Well, when you're going after distressed list, There's only so much of it available. So when you're looking at your market and what you have available to you, let's say that the list is 10,000 names. And let's say that you have a budget of $2,000 a month. That means that you could probably mail about 4,000 people a month. So in 2.5 months, are you with me? You have ran through what? Your market share. You've ran through it already. So at that point, you've got to wait for new to come on, and you might get a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, a couple hundred here, but you don't have enough market share to sustain the growth of your business. Are you guys understanding what I'm putting down? How many of you are with me right now? Say something. Okay. So when that happens, we have to move into the non-distressed seller lead types, because that is an endless supply of prospects. You with me now? But what we have to do is, if we're going to go after it, we have to scale it and we have to filter it. But this list right here is all about the follow-up. So you have to filter this list down by your zip codes. So once we've built our clustering and our zip code matrix, do we already know where all the buyers are buying at and how they're buying? And can we get a very clear picture of who's buying what? You got me? That is what we use to filter this non-distressed list, all the way down to the cluster zones and the property types in which people are buying there, so that we now know who to target. So we might take a 6 million person list, and after we filter it down into our clusters and our property types, it might turn into, 500,000. Now, you're not going to mail 500,000 overnight, but do you understand? Now we've created what? Market share. Now we've created a scalable market share that we have the ability to grow now with, because now we can start marketing to them. You got to use your zip code filtering for this. You build your marketing plan based on that market share, and that's when we go back to what? The zip code mapping. That's right. That's why I keep going back to this, because I want to embed this into your brains. That by far, if you leave here with nothing today, you need to leave here with this image in your mind. Because this image, my friends, is what will save you time, money, and headache. If you can dial this in, you've got something you can now work off of. Because it's not only going to help you with your marketing, it's going to help you with your non-distressed leads. It's going to help you with your lead intake. It's going to help you with your time spent. It's going to help you with dollars spent. Because here's why. If I go pull a list for the entire Madison County that I only want to go after and do rehabs, do you understand? I'm mailing to people on that list that's a waste of time. So I have to only go in and pull out the zip codes that I can do this in, and only mail to those zip codes. You follow me? And so that's why you've got to understand this. So Google for sale by owners. This is part of your what? Homework. So you guys ask me, where do you find them at? Go to Google. Stick it in there. What did I write? For sale by owners list. Or you could put for sale by owner, Dallas, Texas. For sale by owner, where are you from, Brian? Denver. I got lots of buddies in Denver, man. Hey, I like that. He said, come on. That's my guy right there, man. Oh, shit. Oh, that hurt, man. That hurt my hand right there, man. I got to be careful who I punch around here. All right, real estate listings, buy or sell, owner.com, FSBR.com. Anybody been on FSBR? No? FSBR's actually a good one. Dan, I need you to cut that out of the editing over there. Write that time down, okay? All right, buyowner.com, for FSBO.com. Somebody said Zack. No? Okay. So go there. Just search it tonight, because you've got to find how many to contact. 50. So if I hear you say, well, there was only 12 on the site I looked at, then I know that you're what? Lazy. That's what I know. I don't need to hear anything else from you. I just know automatically that you're lazy. Now, you might say, well, I'm not a lazy person. Well, you're lazy in building your financial future. Because if you weren't, guess what? You would sacrifice something for it. And you know what the one thing that you can sacrifice right now? Sleep. I'm just saying, when I got started, that's the only thing I had to sacrifice. I was working a full-time job, I was going to night school, and I was starting a company all at the same time. So don't tell me about time, right? Now, I was a high school dropout, which I'm very proud of, which I am actually, because you know why? Because I defeated the odds, right? When I dropped out, everybody told me I was crazy, I'd never make it. Now they're asking me how I'm doing it, right? That's it. But here's the best part. Once I was able to free up time and make a ton of money, I went back and I started the night school. And yes, I graduated with a college degree with a 4.0 GPA, right? It's amazing how when you do it let me rephrase this. For someone like myself, when I do it on my own time, I can be more efficient about it. But when someone's trying to force me to do it, I rebel like you wouldn't believe, man. I'm like the dog you're trying to get outside. I ain't going. Like, I will sit right here and drag my butt all the way across this carpet. So, hey, anybody here got an English bulldog? Nobody? I got an English bulldog. Nobody else got an English bulldog? You guys, have anybody ever been around English bulldogs? Okay, what's the two things they do more than anything? They don't bark. My dog don't bark at all. They snore and they pass gas. Like, that's the two things they do constantly. And I had to move my dog downstairs by the laundry room so I didn't hear her or smell her. But let me tell you something. They have to be by far some of the best dogs in the world. Like, I love this dog to death. But she will only do what she wants to do. Yeah, she like her daddy. She like her daddy. And I looked at her one day and said, well, you know, they say owners look like their dogs. I guess I'm just SOL. So, list source, write it down. This is where you can get like pre-foreclosure list. You can get for sale by owner list. You can get distress list. You can get equity list. You can get all kinds of stuff out of here, okay? Rebo Gateway. This is for like foreclosure leads, okay? U.S. probate leads. Guys, you don't have to write the www. Rebo Gateway. Rebo Gateway, okay? Rebo Gateway. U.S. probate leads. U.S. probate leads. That's where we get what? Probate leads. Info USA is where we get non-distressed sellers, okay? Non-distressed sellers. Info USA. I just explained it. I just explained the whole thing. Where you been? Were you at the bathroom? All right, so this is a cool little thing for you because you can actually mail every single house on a street for cheap. Like you can mail, like for instance here, 500 pieces went out for $88. You go to usps.com/business/every-door-direct-mail.html. That's what it is. It's on the screen. Look. I'm going to start getting agitated with you guys. Can't do it for you. We're going to have to probably skip our panel tonight. Ma'am? Okay. We'll take a picture of it for you. All right. Let's move on. Skip tracers. This is by far this is probably a gold mine if you guys utilize this. When you send direct mail out, what comes back? Non-delivers, right? So those non-delivers means what? Nobody else is mailing to them. So if you take all those non-deliverables and you go to a skip trace service like TransUnion, which has a service called Investigation Reports, which will do skip tracing for you, they will bring you back the addresses to where all the owners now have moved to. So then you start mailing them, and guess what? You are one of zero competition going after them. You guys with me on this? It costs more money, but it is worth it more than you even realize. Like, I wait for returned mail. Like, I'm like, come on. Like, I hope it's a bunch. Because the bigger it is means what? The more opportunities I have, because here's why. Other people won't mail them. And the other people won't mail them because why? They don't want to pay the extra to do it. But this goes back again to we are in a market to where you have to start working on your direct response marketing. 6 steps to direct mail. Write them down. I'll explain them to you. Step 1 is you have to get their attention. That is a headline. Okay? You have to create a headline to get their attention. Step 2, you have to keep their attention. Okay? So that is called a second headline. So headline, big headline, get their attention. Small headline, keep their attention. What would that example look like? Here's one for you. I mailed to out-of-state owners. The headline says, have you seen your property? They live out of state. Of course they haven't seen their property, right? So is that an attention grabber? Yes. The sub-headline says, I have and you should sell it. So now I've done what? I keep their attention so that I can get them to read my spark the interest section, which is the first paragraph. And then that's where I go into how am I going to spark their interest? Hey, look, I buy properties in this area. You should really contact me. It looks like it's going to fall down. You're going to be liable for it, blah, blah, blah. Give a solution. Talk to them about how you buy in that area and you can buy from them. Now you got to get them to, you got to create an action for them, which is something where you might have to talk about how, and this is very truthful from you guys, that you can't buy a bunch of properties, that you might only be able to buy 1 or 2 properties, and and you want theirs to be one of them. And you have to take them into step 6. Guys, you can be talking to a prospect that absolutely wants to work with you, but if you don't tell them what to do, guess what? They won't do it. They won't do it. So you have to get them to take action. Call me today. Call me right now. Email me today. Get my free report. You have to tell them what to do. Here's some examples. Airmail. So this is an airmail envelope that we buy off of Amazon. And the reason we like it is kind of transparent. It's got blue and red stripes around the edge. So people see it and they want to do what? They want to open it. When we send direct mail, what's the first thing we got to get them to do? Open it. Seasonal treat bags. If it's Halloween or Christmas, we find these little treat bags and we stick our letters in them and we mail them out. Because when they open the mailbox and they see that in there, what do they want to do? Open it. And that's what we're trying to do. Number 1 objective is to get them to open it, okay? We do handwritten postcards now more than anything. Baby blue is our number 1 response rate. Not yellow anymore. Baby blue. So if you're going to do a postcard, switch it to baby blue. Stamps are huge. So when you're doing like letters, think and hold the stamp in a high regard. We always switch them to an angle. We get like superhero stamps or whatever stamp they're selling at the post office of that season. We're buying them out so that we can put them in there, okay? Now here's a cool thing that we do for high equity properties, because this one and this one cost more. So if we're going to spend more for marketing, we want a better return, yes? So we go to wallet-mailer.com. We go there. And we can get these wallets, and there's a letter in it that says like $100 bill. It looks like a $100 bill. So when they get their wallet that's in the mail and they open it up, what looks like a $100 bill, when they pull it out, is actually a sales letter of us telling them how we want to buy their house to get them to read it. And pill bottles. We send out pill bottles because you want to see something happen, watch somebody open their mailbox and there's a pill bottle in it. And they're like, what? Like, who sent me that? But it's crazy what the mail service will send you. Online marketing. Here's your part of your homework. For sale by owner websites, Craigslist, online forums, Zillow, LoopNet, Fizber, HomeFinder, Backpage. The other side is paid services. Paid services. Okay? Paid services. Don't worry, I'll only keep you guys here about another 45 minutes. No, I have way too much marketing for you. I'm going to have to chop it up for tomorrow too. I got a little excited about all the marketing I was going to teach you. I don't think so. No. No, I don't think so. But it might. I just don't know. I haven't used them together. I tell you who would know is Erin in the office. She would know. All right, you guys write all that down? Working on it. See, that's a better answer. Working on it. Take a picture. Take a picture. You getting handwritten? Hey, you guys came here to learn this weekend, didn't you? I could just not teach very much. That's always an option. It's always amazing. You teach too much and people complain, right? You don't teach enough and they'll complain. I wonder what would be the happy medium. Just right. Just right. Okay, you guys got it? So which side of this column do I want you working on tonight? The free side. Can the right side be very good for you? Yes, that's where a budget needs to be created. Property Leads Now I've used, or I still use. Get Deal Bots, that's a good one. Fast Home Offers I use. 1-8 Now I use. Fast Offer Now is actually our national lead service company, so I had to throw that in there for you. But these are basically what this side of the column is it's doing the Google AdWords campaigns for you. You're paying them to run all these campaigns for you online. And here's Google AdWords if you want to do it yourself, okay? Target your local markets. Make sure that one thing I had to learn the hard way with Google AdWords is if you don't go in and actually put in a very specific area that you want it in, like from the zip code matrix map, it will cover the whole United States. And I was wondering why I was getting leads from markets that I knew nothing about. I was like, where are these coming in from? But it's the whole United States. So once I got that figured out, then you go in here, and when it has locations, you just put the zip codes in which your zip code map has dialed in for you in your market, okay? And then you can put radiuses around those. It'll give you the analytics to track it all. Here's some keywords when you're doing online marketing to put in for sellers. Sell house. And the reason I've used these, you might look at them and say, well, they're spelled. No, this is actually what Google gave me as the top searched word phrases for, people that are looking to sell their house. Sell house, sell home, selling a house, sell my house, stop foreclosure. All right? That's if you're going to do online marketing. Most of you will never do that, but if you are, it's a very lucrative side of your business. Keywords for buyers. Did you guys get all these? Okay. Keywords for buyers. Buy home, buy house. House for sale, home for sale, buy a house, property for sale, houses for sale. That's your keywords for buyers. Got it? All right. Traffic sources. You write these down. Video ads. Video ads are really good, and you can put these video ads over other video ads online, okay? So what does that mean? Let's say that there's a company out there in your market advertising like Keller Williams. They have a video. I can go rent ad space on top of that video. So I could rent an ad that says, why list when you could sell today? Boom, right? Snatch their traffic. Articles, pushing prospects to your site. Articles are a big one. PR Web is an article writing company. Online classifieds, blogging. We talked about PPC. Social media marketing is in those forums that I was telling you about. All right? Let's dig into door knocking real quick. A face-to-face interaction results in 13 times the brand recall compared to a message delivered via a marketing piece. This is that I'm at your door, let's do business. You understand? All right, there we go. So the perfect list to target is your pre-foreclosures, which is your 30, 60, 90-day lates for these. Expired listings is another great list. High equity properties, and you can get those through ListSource or theredx.com, okay? theredx.com. All right, let's talk about the game plan. You got to lay out your route. This is the most important thing I can tell you. Set up a target zone built off of your zip code matrix. Here's what I would tell you to do. I would set a route for each week so that you have a certain area of town for each week. But guys, listen to me. Do some door knocking. If you're afraid to do it, hire someone to do it for you. Get them the list. Get them the information. Have them go out and do this, okay? So there's some cool services that can help you do this. But first off, I have found the best results from 9 to 8, Monday through Friday, and 10 to 2 on Saturday. That is where people say, well, what if they're eating dinner? That's great. I can't tell you how many times I got invited in to eat dinner with people. Like, it's look, I would not eat dinner before I go door knocking because I knew I was going to eat 2 or 3 times. So they'd open that door. I'd be like, what you cooking in there? That smells like pork chops to me. Oh, man. Well, listen, why don't we have dinner and talk about your property? That's the best place to have conversation, right? Over dinner. And they're cooking it. Man, I remember that was some good days, man. Listen, I'll tell you, I enjoyed my door knocking days. And that was years ago when I first started. Now, we just hire people to do it. But some of them loved us. Some of them were in denial. And the ones that are in denial, they're really in denial. Like, what are you talking about? That can't be my property. No, it's going to auction in 30 days. No, that's not my property. No, sir. Oh, you see that pile of mail at your front door? That's notices. Nope, that's not my mail. Okay. One of the cool little services I like to use is called Route for Me. It's a route planner. It's an app. So it's super easy. You put in all the addresses and it lays it out for you and where you want to go. You can do it in the fastest approach to get to each property the fastest. So it's just called Route for Me. It's a route planner on iTunes. It's an app that you can download, okay? The other one is called routeplanner.com, okay? Route Planner. You can't see it on the screen, but it's called routeplanner.com. And this allows you to put multiple addresses in and then create the best approach to those. With me? Now, when you're at the door, let's talk about a few things you might want to take some notes on. Dress professional, but do not overdress. Don't go door knocking dressed like I am. You want to dress like, it's Richard, right? Ronald. Ron. You want to dress like Ron. He's professional. He's in a collar shirt. He's got a nice pair of pants on. He's got a nice pair of shoes on. That's it. You don't want to overdress for this. And you definitely don't want to underdress. They're not your buddies. They are people that are in need of help, and you're trying to help them, okay? So don't drive an expensive car to the house neither. The last thing you need to do is come rolling in a Benz talking about you're here to help them. They don't believe you, okay? Why do you think I have my pickup truck? Listen, my pickup truck has been wrecked a few times because in California the roads are a lot smaller. And I was used to driving in roads in Alabama, so like, whoa, there went the tailgate. Here's something that's important. When you knock on a door with door knocking, don't stand up on that door. Like when you knock, back down. If there's a set of steps, back down off of those steps. Create a distance which gives the homeowner a sense of security that you're not trying to barge in with everything that's been going on out there. Okay? And be ready to hand them a brochure. You need to have something on your company that when they open, you can hand it to them so that you can then engage in the script. And if they're not there, leave a door hanger so they know that you've been by. And here's some of the stuff that you can get out there called U-line. This is so that you can put any type of letter of your own stuff. Basically, it's in a little clear bag, and you just stick it on the door when you go to leave. Okay? U-line. The other one is these. Little door hanger. Sorry we missed you. Company information, all that. Give us a call, and therefore they'll probably call you and be curious about what it is you're talking about. All right, door knocking. I'm going to give you all a minute to take some pictures because there's a script on here that is not in your documents. But our primary goal with every house that we knocked on is to get a meeting with the seller right then, not later. Because here's what we know. If we don't get the meeting right then, guess what? Likelihood is we're not getting it. Okay? So here's your script. Take some pictures. If you write this, you will not get it all because I will click through it. I promise you. So take a picture of it. I threw it in there just in the last couple of days for you guys because I realized that in the paperwork it had no script for you. I'll read it to you though. Knock, knock. The investor says, the company that I work for was doing some research down at the courthouse and thought we might be able to help you out with your property. This is where you shut up. You just stop talking because the owners will say things like, well, what are you talking about? There's nothing wrong with my property. Sometimes one of the spouses hasn't even told the other spouse. So they don't know what's going on. And then you'll come back and say, well, I understand. Our company saw the house was a little bit behind, and we typically work with homeowners who are frustrated with the way their bank is treating them, and they're tired of the hassle. Phone calls and letters that are associated with the situation like this. Now, this is the hook. You ready? Would you like to sit down and talk how we can help with the situation real quick? Real quick. Would you like to sit down and talk about how we can help with this situation real quick? I want them to know that I'm not trying to what? I'm not trying to come over and, pitch a tent and hang out with them. I just want to come in, talk to them real quick about the motivation sheet, and if I feel like they're interested, then I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. If they're not, then I'm going to move on, okay? The homeowner says, this isn't a good time. How about giving me a call, and I will get back to you? What do we know if they push us away at the door? We are what? We're not getting the deal. So we got to get them wrapped up. Sounds good. I definitely understand that right now may not be the best time for you. What if I told you that within 5 minutes of your time, I could show you how our company works? Whether or not you're interested doesn't really matter to me. Worst case scenario is in 5 minutes, I'll walk out of here and you know what options you are or what options are to you. You seem like the kind of person that takes responsibility and would want to at least know your options. See, the point of this is we're trying to say to them, look, I get it. You may not be interested right now, but don't you want to know your options? Don't you want to know your situation? They may not even know what the foreclosure timeline looks like that I showed you earlier. They may not have a clue, okay? Well, I guess that'll work, right? You get your foot in the door. So here's what you need to be clear on. If they're interested, move them into the house and possibly have the meeting in the kitchen. Why do we want the kitchen? Well, hopefully they're cooking dinner. That's what I'm saying. But if they're not cooking dinner, I want to sit at the kitchen table because that's where it's at, the kitchen table. That's where all decisions are made most of the time. You want to start going over the motivation sheet at this point. Well, let me sit down. Let me understand what's going on. Let me ask you some questions. Ask if you can see the property. If they're giving you information at that point, you want to walk the property with them. Well, let's look at the property. Let's see if there's any major damage to it because we can buy the house from you. Be ready to make an offer if at all possible. Like with door knocking, our best results when they invited us in and they were acceptable to our motivation sheet, we knew that we had a almost 60 to 70% chance in that moment that we were going to get an offer on the table right there. So we came prepared with an offer. Now, this may not have been the price they wanted and there was negotiations that had to be created, but we came prepared to do an offer. Do not force the offer on them. Always leave it with them, and only move to the offer if they show interest. You with me on this? If they're not showing interest, which is what? Filling out the motivation sheet, it's not going to work. Follow up is king on this. If you're not interested to talk about an offer, follow up with your offer. If they are not interested, if they say no, not right now, follow up with it anyways. Follow up with it anyways, okay? Keep engaged on them. And here's important, always set the appointment before you leave the house. And what is the appointment? The follow-up appointment. And not just set it, but get them to agree on the date and time while you're there with them. And remember to bring up the situation. What's the pain point? Late payments, foreclosures, etc. How will this affect their credit? Create the need to make sure that they want to take action very soon. Because they might be in what? Denial. Distressed. They're not thinking about all of it, so we got to remind them of it. Okay? So here's the point, guys. I got staff that needs to get you guys moving to the next part of our venue. Because we have a VIP dinner. We have a little panel for you guys too. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cover the other 3 points of marketing tomorrow with you. Like I said, I got a little excited with my marketing for this new event. All right, so let me go over the homework with you one more time. So we got homework. Listen, I want you to also call 20 to 25 rental ads. Go right here. This is your rental ad script. Here's a beautiful thing. The rental ad script is laid out. If they say this, you say this. If they say this, you say this. If they say this, you say this. Here's why. Because when we're calling rental ads, we're looking for sellers that basically are willing to do seller financing so I can get you guys into some cash flow this weekend. Okay? Because some of you will find some of these, and I can help you structure those so that you're leaving here making, $300, $400, $500, $600 a month extra before you got here. I helped one guy take down an 8-plex. I helped the one guy at the last event to structure seller financing on a deal. So you're going to find these through the rental ad, okay? It says rental ads at the top of this, and that's your rental ad script. You with me? Now, the other thing is you on the next page, you have your ads for sellers. This is what you could run on Craigslist, or you could run this anywhere. I just gave you some examples. The next one is, I want you to run this on Craigslist tonight. It's called Ads for Tenant Buyers. Your job is your credit. You hear me on that? Your job is your credit. That's what we're going to run. Why rent when you can own? I have houses that can be bought with seller financing in place. Email me at, now let me be clear, make a note here. If you were not at my event this weekend, you would put your call me here. Because I don't want your phones ringing all day tomorrow. Then put your email address in there. Are we clear? That was a question, guys. You guys are wore out. Has it been a long day for you guys? Oh, man. I need you guys drinking coffee tomorrow. Oh, yes.
When we call someone and get through the motivation page, how do we continue it on? Can we call you back tomorrow with an offer?
You set the appointment. Remember, guys, it's part of sales. Anytime you call somebody, remember the lead intake? Remember, what was number 2? It was what? Communication. Remember, communication is going down the motivation sheet. We let them know, hey, I need to research the property. And it's in the script. It says it at the bottom. I need to research the property, and then I can call you back. How are you available tomorrow or Monday? And then so you set the follow-up call so that you can research the property, okay? So the tenant buyer script is going to bring in your tenant buyers. These are going to be people who are willing to step in on the seller financing deal that you might structure on those rental ads. Okay? And then the next page is your tenant buyer script. And then the next page is your buyer script. So your homework tonight is what? Call it, or at least dial 50 for sale by owners. See how many you can get on the phone with, okay? The other one is what? Rental ads. That's right. We want to also run an ad for a tenant buyer, correct? To see how many of those we could get. For some of you, you need to create marketing dollars. Where are you going to get that at? There you go. You guys are paying attention. So that's part of the homework, is getting you guys busy. I gave you some other homework too. What? Zone. Give yourself 2,000 points. Who said that over here? Yeah, zone clusters. I want you using Zillow tonight to find the zoning clusters in your market, because that was part of the for sale by owners, was then going back and checking by owners and make me move. I want you doing this, okay?